Hello everybody, it's Kai. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new speed build video. And in today's video, we are going to be furnishing and building a house in Windenburg, and the theme for the house is a Tudor family home. And I decided to build this Tudor family home because I never built a Tudor home before, but it was quite challenging for this build because I didn't really know what a Tudor home is supposed to be like. And so I searched on Pinterest and found a lot of interesting pictures, and a lot of them were actually pretty nice, but I think this build turned out okay for me. But do let me know what you guys think in the comments if you like it or not. But we are building in the beautiful world of Windenburg, and Windenburg is the world that came with the Get Together pack, and it is quite a nice world to build in, but I don't think it is in one of my favorites. I don't think it is in my top worlds to build in list. But anyways, we are building this house for a family of Sims consisting of a couple of parents and their two sets of twins, and I wanted to do this theme because I came up with it like very randomly, and I also wanted to fully utilize the bunk beds that came with the newest update. And we are recording this on the 28th of March, which is a few days after the update has come up. But by the time I post this, it will be quite long. But anyways, this house, like I said, is for a family that consists of the parents and their two sets of twins. So the number of bedrooms in this house, there are 3 bedrooms in total. And I quite had a lot of fun building this house, but it was quite challenging because, like I said, I didn't know like what a Tudor home is supposed to look like. I mean, from Pinterest you can kind of know what it looks like, but I meant that the elements that are involved. A lot of the houses that I saw on Pinterest only included the wallpapers that are very similar to the ones that came from Get Together, but for the inside it was quite hard for me to like furnish it because I tried really hard to stick to the theme, but then like at the same time it is quite like new to me, so it is quite challenging for me, but I enjoyed furnishing this house eventually. And so you can see from this video over here that we are working on the structure of the home, and the home is kind of very basic in terms of the like concept, but I think it is different in a sense that there are parts of the build that stick out with no support underneath it. So for the back part of the house, just now you saw that I put a wall that sticks out by one grid, and the bottom there are no like columns under it, so it is quite different, but it is quite suburban, I would say. But anyways, we are going to be landscaping now, and the landscaping took me quite a short time because I didn't want to landscape it fully. I wanted to stick to this theme that it is quite blended with nature. So for the back part of the house later, you will see that there will be no fences surrounding it. I thought of doing an open garden type of theme to it, so I did that, but I did end up adding a clothing line at the back of the house because I wanted to make it look kind of traditional. But for the interior of the build, it is quite family oriented and also cozy and a bit more modern than traditional. So I really hope you guys will like this video. If you want to download it, it is already up in the gallery under my ID, which is simmerkhai as usual. And just a disclaimer, I want to also mention that a lot of my builds that I post over here are like inspirations from Pinterest, so it is not my original idea, because I think the other day I saw someone commented that when I did the base game family home, the person commented that I copied another simmer, which is Miss Simmerino, and I love Miss Simmerino. I'm not gonna lie, she is one of my favorite YouTube simmers on this platform, but I just want to say that I got the house through Pinterest, so I didn't copy her. But I know that she did something similar, and I'm pretty sure she also got, I mean, not only her and me, a lot of us simmers actually obtained like inspiration from Pinterest. So yeah, I'm sorry about that if you thought that I copied her, but even if I copied her, I didn't have any intention to do so. So I don't think I copied her. But anyways, back to this build. Like I said, for the garden area of the build, it is quite an open space concept with kind of some landscaping, some debug landscaping, and I wanted to make sure that the house kind of blends in with the nature, because Windenburg itself is a pretty world and it is also associated with nature, as you can see. For this lot, the surrounding is a lot of trees, so I wanted to make sure that this house kind of blends in with it in a way. So I decided not to put a fence around it, but I think I really like how it turned out because it kind of looks nice. And it is also rare of me to like not put fences around houses, so I think that is a good thing, something new to this channel for my builds. But anyways, we are moving on to the interior over here, and for the kitchen I decided to use some country kitchen kit. I think that is what it's called. I also forgot, but it is the kit that they recently introduced. And yeah, for the kits I think I only have the country kitchen kit because the other two are more intended towards gameplay, so I didn't buy them. I mean, I didn't purchase them, so I thought that the country kitchen kit was a like more worth it for me because I build a lot and I don't really play the game. But this kitchen over here I wanted to do kind of like traditional plus a bit modern, because I do put in those chairs that came with the birthday update and made sure that the counters that I use, like these kind of like bar counters, I think that's what they're called, where you can put a stool in front of it. I decided to include it in the kitchen instead of it being separately from the counters over here where your Sims cook and clean at the same time, because I also wanted to try something new for the kitchen. And for the whole concept of this Tudor home, I wanted to make sure I stuck to a lot of traditional elements, in a sense that the furniture I used for this build, a lot of them are quite rustic looking and also kind of old-fashioned. So I decided to do that for this theme, for the general theme of this house. But I think I did add in a little bit of modern elements to it, like I said, whereby I put those stools over there to make it look a little bit more modern. But I imagine that this house is also quite an old house where the family that lives here actually kind of renovated it to make it look more like a bit more suburban, I would say. And also I just imagine that the Sims, they maintain this house to make sure that this house works perfectly fine in good conditions and good terms. So I decided to mix modern suburban elements to traditional ones. But for the wallpaper of the house, it is my first time using these wallpapers that are half brick and half like a normal wallpaper, I think. And it's from the base game, and I've never used them before. I think it was a perfect fit for this house since I was aiming for a kind of traditional but kind of modern build, and I thought that the wallpaper suited it perfectly. But I think for the bedrooms of this house I will end up using a different wallpaper, because I thought that bedrooms should have more cozy looking wallpapers because that's where your Sims sleep. But for the common areas like the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, they all have the same wallpaper, which is a half brick wall mixed with a normal color white plain wallpaper. And I think the whole color scheme of this build for the outside is generally like kind of dark blue or grayish, but for the inside there are a lot of wooden tones. I decided to put in a lot of wooden tones with different colors, different ranges of browns. So throughout the build, I mean, you will see a lot of browns and also a lot of dark wood and also light wood. And I'm pretty happy with this build because I usually suck at building like very traditional builds, but I think for this build I managed to pull it off pretty well. Not so well, I would say more mediocre well. But this house also ends up having a fireplace in here, which I will be replacing that bookshelf with. And I used the fireplace from the cats and dogs because I thought that the bricks on the fireplace added more a traditional element to this house. And I also included, I tried to include a lot of pictures, because for the decorations of Tudor homes, I'm not so sure, or I'm not so familiar with. Even on Pinterest there wasn't a lot of like wall decorations that I saw. a lot of it were more like wooden textures and wooden furniture, but not a lot of wall decorations. But if you do know something about wall decorations in Tudor homes, please let me know, because I don't have a Tudor home and I would really like to know what makes it different from other builds. But anyways, this house also ends up having a study room over here, which is quite small, and I decided to make it black. I'm not so sure why I did that, but I figured that the black color, the dark colors especially, suited the Tudor theme very well, so I stuck to that. And yeah, for the whole build, you saw that I added in those window decorations that stick out from the outside. There are like platforms when you view it from the inside, but I'm really like I feel frustrated because we cannot really put anything in the platforms. And as you can see over here, I was trying to put in a kind of like a sun clock or something, I believe it's called, I'm not so sure, but I tried putting it from the outside using the OMSP shelf, which is the red shelf over here, but then the thing always went down to the ground. So yeah, I was quite frustrated because I couldn't place a lot for the extensions that came with the get together pack, which sticks out from the outside. So I really hope that changes in the near future, hopefully. But for the kitchen, I believe I also put in a part that sticks out, but I eventually succeeded at that because I think it was on the ground floor, so it was quite easy for me to place an item from the outside of the house instead of it being on the second floor, and yeah, it went to the ground. So yeah, anyways, I figured that this family also has two sets of twins, in which one set is a set of twin boys and the other one is a set of twin girls. I thought I'd mix it up because I thought that the idea was a bit different from what I usually do, so I decided to do that and utilize the bunk beds, because I think it's good that they introduce bunk beds into the game, because you can add more Sims to the household. More Sims who can live in this house. So the total number of Sims that can live in this house are 6 Sims, which is quite a lot of Sims, I think, considering that this build is quite small. So I'm really happy with that because I could fit in 6 spaces for 6 Sims. So that's a good thing, I guess. But anyways, the boys' twins room ended up being a blue color scheme mixed with a lot of blacks, and I figured that the boys, they are kind of like this preteen, is that what you call it, a tween? I'm not so sure, but they are preteen children, and I figured that the twin girls, they are a little bit older than the twin boys because their rooms are a bit more neat when you compare with the boys' room. But for the color scheme of the girls' room, it is, as you can see, it is quite bright and very pink and greenish, and I decided to make it pink because it's the easiest thing for me to do for the theme. So I decided to do that, and I basically like use the same items that I used for the twin boys' bedroom into the girls' bedroom, because I figured that it is much better that way and saves a lot more time. But this house only has 1 bathroom, I think. On the ground floor, I'm not so sure if I put in another bathroom. I think I did, I'm not so sure. But the top floor only has 1 bathroom in which all of the Sims share the same bathroom. And I did this because I figured that the Tudor home is quite small for a big family, so it ends up being only having 1 bathroom upstairs. And I thought that it is a perfect idea because I imagine that the Sims that live here, the family especially, they are very chaotic, so they're just running around and like fighting for the bathroom in the mornings, maybe something like that. But anyways, the back part of the house is very simple. I added in a clothing line because I figured that it is more traditional like that. But I didn't add laundry baskets in this game because I forgot, and I just realized when I said about it. So I'm sorry about that, but you can always put in a laundry basket if you wish. And the garden also has some basic items like the barbecuer and also some pots for the plants. But unfortunately, we have reached the end of the video, so I really hope you guys will like this build. If you do like it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye!